So just to get started, some background. What is EndNote? Well, EndNote is a referencing manager, and it doesn't do everything for you automatically. It's more like a workflow manager for everything that you need to do or might want to do that has to do with references. You still need to know, for example, how to reference. You still need to know how to reference in the style that you'll be asked that you're asked to use for a particular project or thesis. So today we're covering the client software, and it allows us to store the information about referencing and references centrally rather than having them spread out where they might get lost. And that central storage allows us to organize the references for particular purposes and uses and subdivide them for particular reasons. You can export reference information and records from various search tools. That's one place where it starts saving you money, saving you effort and time, because it does require a little bit of effort and time to learn how to use the software. So it's a program that creates files, little database files called EndNote libraries, in which you can populate your records to then export them to Word documents for inserting in-text citations and bibliographies. And it even allows you to store the full text PDFs with your references. So not only is it a reference manager, but you could use it as the manager for your literature review, for example. And that way, over time, you could create your own personal database of academic and professional literature. This is what we're doing today. So you would have all received a handout with the EndNote Essentials activities and exercises. If you haven't, Emma will be putting the link to those exercises in the chat box as well. And this is what we're doing today and how we're doing it as well. So just to start and get people used to what it looks like, I'm going to do a little bit of an introductory demo just of the interface and the basic structure of the interface and the basic functionalities that are available for you to use, so that you're ready and to know what you're aiming for, because then it'll be your turn. So part B will be creating our own library and filling it up with references. In the first instance, creating a reference manually, knowing how to do that and know how to check that the data is correct. Then second, exporting from a database into your library. And then third, seeing if we can also export or extract PDF documents as well as just the records, and then having a look at the PDF viewer. Then the third part is working with Word, EndNote with Word. So inserting in-text citations and bibliography entries in a particular style, how to edit those safely, and also backing up your library. So those are your exercises. As well as that, I'll also demonstrate a few top-up things as well. So the exercises are there for you to do today, and then you could repeat them to lock in your learning, plus do the extra activities as well to build on that learning. And after each exercise, we'll have a brief pause. So the structure will be, I'll demonstrate it, then I'll give you time to do the exercise. Then if you wouldn't mind, you could say in the chat that you've done. And then we'll have perhaps a brief amount of time for any questions that may remain. I hope that's okay. So starting with that demonstration. And this is also in the exercises as well, step by step. So from to open EndNote, when it's installed on your machine, go to your Start menu, find the list of, under the list of programs and so forth, the E for EndNote, and click on EndNote. Now, depending on what your installation is or where you are, you may get some spam at this point when the software opens, or a reminder to update. So just click away from that and cancel it. This is an example of an already populated library. It comes with EndNote as well, so you can have a look yourself, but I'm just showing you the basic structure of the interface. So at the top there, You've got a command bar with various menus, including, for example, this file menu. The file menu is what you would use to open or create a new library. So that's one of the exercises you'll be doing. Then below that, there's the ribbon with all the icons for different functionalities. That's another way you can access the functionalities. Things like how to create a new reference, something you'll be doing. Things like finding full text, something you'll be doing as well, or showing or hiding this search panel. Apart from that, the structure is divided into 3 panels. On the left-hand side, you've got the groups panel. So at the top, there's all references, and below that, in this example library, there's subviews of those references. Subject tags called groups that you can create yourself. This is one of the exercises as well. And the idea is that you have one library, but then create, I suppose, subgroups, which are in effect sub-libraries. So the best thing to do is to have one library rather than have multiple libraries, because that maximizes the point of having everything stored centrally for your own organization and minimizes any errors. Then in the middle, you've got the list view. And the list view is how you would look at your references, I suppose, most of the time. It's organized according to subfields that are recognizable to you or useful to you. So things like author, year, title in the column headings, journal. You can change this if you want. If you want to look at something different, you can. By right-clicking on the menu heading, you can see what can be shown, and you can select or deselect. That's the list view. Now, in the left-hand side, you've got the individual view. And I suppose you'll be doing most of the work there once you're in EndNote. There's a few tabs to the individual pane there. There's the reference tab, the preview tab, and the attached PDFs tab. Now, the preview tab shows you what your reference would look like that you've got selected. Say, for example, I select this one for a villa in the list view, and then look at the preview. It will show you what your reference will look like if you insert that into your Word document, according to the style that you have selected at the time. And I'll just draw your attention to the top left. On the icon bar there, there's a drop-down menu with, in my case, as a style selected APA 6, but you could select another style there. The styles that you'll see will be likely the subset of styles that are favorites or most commonly used at QUT. So things like APA 6 or 7th, Harvard, Vancouver, and so forth. If you do have APA 6, it's also possible to, and it doesn't show APA 7, you can go to the website to download APA 7th and add it to it if you've got an old install. And more generally, there'll be styles that you might want to use beyond the QUT styles for writing articles or doing projects with other people. And so you could find another style that comes with EndNote by clicking on Select Another Style, and that will show you a subset of about 150 different journal and other referencing styles that you might want to use. And so you could select that, and then it will become visible in this submenu. And at any time you could select another style, and then the preview would change, and what you insert into your document would change. That's the preview. Now, the reason why there is a preview is because the data you enter is not always complete or correctly formatted. So there might be things missing, there might be too much information there, either because you've typed it in differently to how it should be, or because it's been imported from a database incorrectly or not fully or with the wrong kind of information. So that's one reason why this preview is there. So if there's anything wrong with your preview, according to your style, you could change it in the reference tab, this one. The reference tab is the full record of your selected reference from this list. So it has all the possible fields. It tells you what format, what reference type that you have. So in this case, it's a journal article. And then it's got all the fields in it. that you could populate, or that might need to populate, and this is where you would edit it, add it, or extract information when you're checking. So that's the preview and the reference tab. Then the other tab there is the example PDF. Well, that's the name of it. This is the PDF tab, and it will show you a subview of a PDF if your reference has a PDF attached, and you'll be looking at that and a little bit in one of the exercises later as well. You could expand it into a PDF viewer. So that, in sum, is kind of what you're hoping to achieve when you're doing the exercises, creating a library that's got groups, got PDFs, got reference listed in the middle. So that's what we'll be doing next. Now, to close a library, I'll just show you that before I demonstrate it, and I'll move this along a bit because I think it doesn't show correctly otherwise. At the top right, there's a small x, which is the library you've just opened, or I've just opened, and a large X, and the large X is the whole software. But if you want to close a record or a library that you've got open, just click on the small X there.